Welcome back to Saint Shenouda Podcast. Today, we're looking into the really compelling life of an extraordinary individual, Saint Marina the Monk. Her story, it kind of challenges our assumptions, doesn't it? And invites us to think deeply about patient endurance.
Oh, absolutely. It's a narrative that really makes you look beyond the surface, to consider what genuine faith and commitment can actually involve,
Yes.
especially when facing, unimaginable trials.
Right.
Marina's example feels just as relevant today as it must have been centuries ago.
I couldn't agree more. So let's try and unpack the layers of her remarkable life. We're talking about what's now Lebanon, roughly the 5th century. Marina, also known as Marina the Syrian, or sometimes by the male name she took, Marinos.
Right, Marinos. And there are other names too, aren't there, like Pelagia or Mary of Alexandria?
Exactly, which is fascinating in itself. It sort of underscores the widespread impact her story had across different traditions.
Yeah, that range of names really points to how widely she was venerated. But it also hints, I think, at the profound transformation she went through in her life. So she was born in Al-Qalamun near Tripoli. Her parents were wealthy Christians.
Okay.
Some accounts name them Eugenius and Theodora. Others mention Ibrahim and Badura. Sadly, her mother died when she was very young.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she was raised by her father, Eugenius, who was apparently very devout and instilled those strong Christian values in her.
And that upbringing clearly set the stage, but maybe not in the way her father expected.
Not at all. As Marina got older, approached marriageable age, he was planning a pretty conventional future for her.
An arranged marriage.
An arranged marriage, yeah. And his own plan was to then retire to a monastery himself, the monastery of Konabin in the Kadisha Valley.
But Marina, she had other plans.
This is where her spiritual conviction really comes through powerfully. When she heard his plans, she didn't just accept it. She actually challenged him, asked him with this amazing clarity why he intended to save his own soul and destroy mine. Quite direct.
Wow. That's bold for the time.
And what did he say? Well, his response was kind of what you might expect then. What shall I do with you? You are a woman. A bit dismissive, perhaps.
But she didn't let that stop her.
Absolutely not. She just declared, point blank, that they would both live as monks together.
That's just an extraordinary moment of determination, isn't it? To basically push back against society, family, religious norms all at once.
It's incredibly radical. And her father, seeing her resolve, was, well, absolute. He gave away all his possessions to the poor, kept very little for himself. And then Marina, who had already shaved her head, put on men's clothes and started going by Marinos.
She took the name Marinos.
Yes. She journeyed with him to the Kadisha Valley.
So they actually did it. They entered the monastery together.
They did. They lived in a shared cell. And the other monks, they had no idea about her true sex.
How did they not notice?
Well, they rationalized it. Her voice was soft, so they figured, oh, it must be from, long hours of prayer.
Or maybe a physical condition?
Or maybe that she was a eunuch. That was another assumption. But what really stood out was her character, her humility, her dedication, obedience. She was always quiet, kept to herself, often hid her face in her cowl.
So this hidden life, this constant concealment.
It was, in a very real way, her silent martyrdom. Not a single big event, but a daily offering.
Offering up her identity, really.
Exactly. Offering her truth, her identity, her reputation, every single day, just to stay true to her calling. A profound, unseen sacrifice.
Then after about 10 years living like this, her father passed away.
Yes, Eugenius died. And Marinos, now alone, actually intensified her ascetic practices.
What does that mean exactly, ascetic practices?
Oh, things like extreme fasting, long prayer vigils, physical self-denial. It wasn't about punishment, but more about purifying the soul, detaching from the world, drawing closer to God. Very common in early monasticism, and still incredibly challenging.
Okay. So she became even more focused, even more careful about hiding her identity.
Yes, but her biggest trial was still ahead.
Right. This is where the story takes a really dramatic turn.
It really does. This is where her patient endurance is tested to the absolute limit. So one day, the abbot sends Marinos and 3 other monks into a nearby city on monastery business.
Okay.
They stay at an inn, and that same night, a soldier staying there seduces the innkeeper's daughter.
Oh, dear.
And then, with really cruel calculation, he tells the daughter, look, if you get pregnant, just blame the young monk, Father Marinos.
No, that's awful.
And tragically, that's exactly what happened. She did become pregnant.
So she told her father.
She told her father, and he was, understandably, furious. He went straight to the monastery, confronted the abbot.
And the abbot, he knew Marinos was devout, right?
He did. He knew Marinos' reputation for piety, but he still called her in to answer the charge.
And what Marinos did next, it's almost unbelievable.
It really is. When she understood what she was being accused of, she just fell to her knees weeping, and she confessed. Falsely confessed to the sin, asked for forgiveness.
She chose to be seen as a male sinner.
Yes, rather than reveal she was a woman and therefore completely innocent of that specific accusation. She chose public disgrace over revealing her secret.
That's such a profound choice. Why? Why do that?
It's a huge question. Some commentary suggests she was deliberately uniting her pain to that of innocent Christ before Pilate, choosing that humility, that suffering, over clearing her own name.
It just goes against every modern instinct, doesn't it? To immediately defend yourself, prove your innocence?
Completely. It points to a different understanding of justice, maybe. Trusting in a divine justice over an earthly one.
So the abbot believed her confession.
Apparently so. Enraged, he expelled Marinos from the monastery immediately.
And her reaction?
No complaint. She just bowed her head and left. And she stayed outside the monastery gates for years.
Yeah.
Some say 3, some say 4.
Just living outside, in disgrace.
Yes. And then it gets even harder. The innkeeper's daughter gave birth to a boy.
And the father.
The innkeeper, her father, brought the baby and just left him with Marinos.
Left the baby with the person he thought was the father.
Exactly. Can you imagine? Marinos, now an outcast, takes this child, raises him, feeds him with sheep's milk from local shepherds who took pity.
There's even a version where she miraculously nursed him herself.
Yes, some traditions include that detail, highlighting this almost supernatural acceptance of the situation. She endured all this shame, this hardship, without a word of complaint. Just continued her life of prayer, penance.
Her reputation completely destroyed.
Utterly. Living in poverty, begging, working as a servant, but still faithful to that hidden calling. It's an almost unbelievable display of patient endurance.
It really is the ultimate test of faith. To be cast out, slandered, burdened like that.
And still remain constant in your devotion. Living right there near the monastery, enduring the scorn, never justifying herself.
Trusting completely in God's plan, even when it looked disastrous from the outside.
It really pushes us to think about silent acceptance, doesn't it? In our world of instant reactions and demanding vindication.
Yeah. What does it mean to trust in a justice beyond what we can see or control right now?
Her endurance wasn't passive resignation. It feels like an active internal surrender. Very countercultural today.
So how did she eventually get back into the monastery?
Well, after this long period, 4 years, maybe longer, the other monks started to feel sorry for her. They saw her perseverance, how she cared for the child despite everything. They went to the abbot.
And convinced him to let her back in?
They did. The abbot agreed, but not without conditions. Heavy penalties.
Like what?
The hardest manual labor. Cooking, cleaning, carrying water. All the tough jobs.
On top of her regular monastic duties.
Yes, and still caring for the child.
And she accepted.
She accepted. Apparently shedding tears of repentance, though we might see it differently now, her heart just seeking to serve God, even in that lowest position.
So she just kept going, doing this intense labor, living this hidden, hard life.
Persevered right through it all. Until, at age 40, though, one account says maybe 20 years after the accusation, she fell ill.
And she passed away.
Passed away 3 days later. The abbot ordered her body be prepared for the funeral. Cleaned, dressed.
And that's when
the monks, removing her clothes, made the discovery. Marinos was a woman.
Wow. Imagine the shock in that moment.
It must have been immense, a complete upheaval. They were deeply distressed, ran straight to the abbot.
And the abbot's reaction?
He came immediately, saw the truth, and apparently wept bitterly for the injustice he'd overseen for so long.
Did he confront the others? The innkeeper?
Yes. He summoned the innkeeper, revealed the truth. The innkeeper also wept, confessed his part publicly. And the soldier and his daughter, there's a tradition they were tormented by a devil until they confessed at Marina's burial site. A kind of dramatic justice.
And her sanctity was recognized almost immediately.
Seems so. Miracles started happening right away. During the funeral, a monk who was blind in one eye touched her body and regained his sight.
Incredible.
And in the Coptic Orthodox tradition, her body is believed to be incorrupt, preserved, and is displayed on her feast day.
So her reputation was completely restored posthumously.
And then some. Her fame spread rapidly. Her tomb became a place of pilgrimage known for cures and graces.
And she's venerated quite widely, isn't she?
Very widely. Eastern Orthodox, Coptic Orthodox, the Episcopal Church, even among the Druze, who called her Alcit Shawani,
And her relics.
believed to have been moved, eventually ending up in Venice in the Church of Santa Marina. Though there are claims of parts, like her left hand in Greece, Belgium, Sinai too, shows how treasured her memory became.
So when we step back and reflect on her life, what are the big takeaways for us today?
Well, that choice, to be seen as a man and a sinner rather than as an honorable woman, it speaks volumes about humility, doesn't it? And a commitment to a hidden life focused only on God.
And the patient endurance, suffering that level of humiliation, false accusation, without defending herself, it's hard to grasp.
It really is. It's a powerful example of accepting unjust suffering, trusting in divine justice over earthly reputation. It really challenges our modern need for immediate vindication, for setting the record straight online or wherever.
Yeah, it asks us to think about whether there's value in enduring injustice sometimes for a deeper spiritual reason.
And the idea of her whole life is a silent martyrdom.
Right, not just one act, but the daily grind of hiding, sacrificing her identity.
It reminds you that maybe true worth isn't always about public recognition. It's about what's done faithfully, unseen.
And that silence, her silence, was incredibly powerful in its own way, an act of profound submission.
And forgiveness, too. On her deathbed, asking forgiveness from everyone and forgiving everyone who wronged her. Her accusers, the abbot.
That's huge, especially after everything she went through.
It shows a path to freedom, doesn't it? Releasing yourself and others from that bitterness, even after terrible injustice.
And thinking about identity. In a world so focused on defining ourselves, her story offers a different angle.
Absolutely. Her core identity wasn't her gender or her name Marinos, but her soul connected to Christ.
She didn't deny being female, but she consecrated it entirely, choosing this unique path of obedience.
It's that concept of kenosis, isn't it? That Greek idea of self-emptying.
Explain that a bit more.
It's more than just being humble. It's like a radical giving up of your own will, your desires, even your identity, to make space for God, mirroring how Christ humbled himself.
So Marina's life was a kind of living kenosis.
I think so, yeah. It shows that real spiritual strength can come from that kind of radical self-giving.
And finally, just her sheer resilience.
Undeniable. Cast out, slandered, raising a child not hers in poverty, yet remaining steadfast in prayer, in faith.
It shows that even when the world condemns you, holiness can be found in staying true to your inner calling, trusting God. So Saint Marina the Monk, her journey is just this incredible beacon of patient endurance, humility, and the power of a life dedicated to God, even when it's completely misunderstood. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What are we willing to endure for what we believe is true? And how might embracing humility, maybe even forgiveness when faced with injustice, unlock a deeper kind of peace in our own lives? Something to reflect on.